Today we're exploring one of the most practically useful and collectible complications in all of modern watchmaking, the GMT. Named after Greenwich Mean Time, the global reference point from which all world time zones are calculated, a GMT watch displays a second time zone simultaneously alongside local time, allowing the wearer to track two parts of the world on a single dial without any mental conversion required. Born from the golden age of commercial aviation in the 1950s, from solar-powered everyday instruments to some of the most celebrated and iconic references in Swiss watchmaking history, today we count down 10 of the finest GMT watches ever made. Let's get into it. Number 10. Citizen Promaster Eco Drive. GMT. The Citizen Promaster Eco Drive GMT. A watch that delivers genuine dual time zone functionality wrapped in Citizen's most trusted and capable sport watch platform. All powered by the maintenance-free EcoDrive solar technology that has made the brand a byword for practical, no-compromise watchmaking. The GMT hand, a dedicated fourth hand that completes one full rotation every 24 hours against a marked bezel or chapter ring, allows a second time zone to be read at a glance alongside local time. A feature executed here with the clean, unambiguous legibility that the Promaster line consistently delivers. Citizen's Eco Drive system ensures the watch is always powered and always ready, harvesting energy from ambient light and storing enough reserve to run for months in complete darkness. A genuinely meaningful operational advantage for a watch designed to accompany international travel. The robust case construction, 200-meter water resistance, and bold, high-contrast dial design reinforce the Promaster's tool watch character throughout, creating a GMT that earns its place on working wrists rather than merely decorative ones. Number 9. Seiko Prospex GMT Diver. The Seiko Prospex GMT Diver is a fascinating and genuinely exciting proposition. A watch that combines two of the most functionally purposeful complications in sport watchmaking into a single, cohesive, and beautifully executed package. Dive watches and GMT functions have historically occupied separate product categories, the argument being that the specific use cases rarely overlap. Seiko's answer to that argument is to simply build a watch capable enough to make the overlap irrelevant, delivering ISO-compliant dive watch credentials alongside a fully functional GMT complication in a case that wears with the confident, purposeful solidity of the Prospex line at its best. The in-house Seiko automatic movement powering the GMT hand is a point of genuine pride. A manufacture solution that reflects decades of accumulated movement development expertise and delivers reliable performance across both functions without compromise. The dial design manages the considerable information load of combined dive and GMT displays with characteristic Seiko clarity. The 24-hour GMT scale integrated into the bezel or dial architecture with a logic that makes immediate intuitive sense. For adventure travelers, technical divers, and watch enthusiasts who refuse to carry two watches when one exceptional one will do, the Prospex GMT Diver is an outstanding answer. The Seiko Prospex GMT Diver retails for approximately $1,200 USD. Number 8. Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 GMT. The Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 GMT is one of the most stylistically compelling additions to the GMT category in recent years. A watch that takes the PRX's already celebrated integrated bracelet design and 1970s-inspired aesthetic and enriches it with a genuinely useful travel complication that feels entirely at home within the EOS collection's design language. The PRX's defining visual characteristic, that seamless flow between the slim case and the integrated bracelet links, is preserved completely in the GMT variant, meaning the dual time zone functionality arrives without any sacrifice to the watch's exceptional wrist presence or wearing comfort. The 24-hour GMT hand in a contrasting color reads clearly against the sunburst dial, while the 24-hour scale on the inner bezel allows the second time zone to be tracked with accuracy and ease. Number 7. Hamilton Khaki Aviation Converter GMT. The Hamilton Khaki Aviation Converter GMT is a watch of genuine mechanical ingenuity that solves the GMT complication's central practical challenge, local time adjustment during travel, with a solution so elegant and useful that it immediately distinguishes itself from every conventional GMT on the market. Most traditional GMT watches require the wearer to track local time using either the main hands or a separate complication. But the converter's patented quick-set hour hand mechanism allows local time to be advanced or retracted in 1-hour increments independently of the running movement, meaning you can adjust for a new time zone the moment your plane lands without stopping the watch or disrupting the home time display in any way. This is exactly the kind of thoughtful, purpose-driven engineering that Hamilton's aviation heritage demands and its customers have come to expect. Number 6. Oris Aquis GMT date. The Oris Aquis GMT date arrives at the midpoint of our accessible tier as one of the most complete and satisfying sport GMT watches in the Swiss mid-range market. A watch that combines the Aquis diver's considerable underwater credentials with a GMT complication, executed to a standard that belies its price point and reflects the genuine engineering ambition of one of Switzerland's most respected independent manufacture houses. The Aquis's ceramic unidirectional bezel, 300-meter water resistance, and robust case architecture are all preserved intact in the GMT variant, which adds a contrasting 24-hour GMT hand and a redesigned bezel incorporating a 24-hour scale alongside the conventional dive timing function. The result is a watch of exceptional versatility, equally authoritative underwater, in an airport terminal, or at a business meeting, that manages the transition between these contexts with complete visual and functional coherence. Oris's independence as a manufacturer is worth acknowledging here. Unlike many brands at this price point, Oris makes its own decisions about design, movement development, and production standards without the constraints or safety nets of group ownership, and that institutional self-reliance produces watches with a character and conviction that is genuinely its own. The Oris Aquis GMT date retails for approximately $2,300 USD. Number 5. Tudor Black Bay GMT. We encounter what has become, in a remarkably short time, one of the most beloved and collectible GMT watches in the modern market, the Tudor Black Bay GMT, a timepiece that draws directly from the most storied chapter in GMT watch history and delivers it with a combination of quality, character, and value that the collecting community has embraced with extraordinary enthusiasm. Tudor's relationship with Rolex, sharing ownership, facilities, and certain supply chain advantages while maintaining its own distinct design identity, has always given the Black Bay line a quality foundation that independent brands at similar price points struggle to match, and the GMT is the clearest expression of that advantage. The two-tone bidirectional bezel, available in the classic blue and red Pepsi colorway or the GMT-Master nodding black and blue Batman arrangement, is a direct homage to the original GMT-Master bezel that debuted on Rolex references supplied to Pan American Airways pilots in the 1950s, and wearing it carries that history with genuine, documented weight. The in-house MT5652 manufacture caliber, with its 79-hour power reserve and COSC-level precision, is a movement of genuine quality that operates with smooth, assured authority. For collectors who want genuine GMT heritage, manufacture movement quality, and exceptional finishing at a price well below the Swiss establishment's upper tier, the Black Bay GMT is essentially the benchmark answer. The Tudor Black Bay GMT retails for approximately $450 USD. Number 4. Grand Seiko Sport GMT. We make a significant and thoroughly deserved ascent into the upper tier of the GMT market with the Grand Seiko Sport GMT, a watch that brings Japan's most prestigious watchmaking tradition to the dual time zone. Complication, with a combination of technical accomplishment and aesthetic philosophy entirely unlike anything produced in Switzerland. Grand Seiko occupies a position in global horology that is simultaneously widely respected and persistently underappreciated outside of serious collector circles. A manufacturer producing watches of extraordinary finishing quality, movement precision, and design originality that rival the Swiss establishment's finest offerings at every price point. The Sport GMT's Zaratsu polished case, a hand-finishing technique that produces mirror surfaces of such optical perfection they appear almost liquid, is the immediate and overwhelming visual statement. Every facet and transition resolved to a standard that must be seen in person to be fully understood. The dial, inspired by the natural landscapes of the Shinshu region, where Grand Seiko's Shinshu Watch Studio is located, achieves a textural depth and color complexity through traditional Japanese craft techniques that no printed or vapor-deposited dial surface can approach. The spring drive or high-beat automatic movement powering the GMT function delivers accuracy and a sweeping seconds hand motion that are unique to Grand Seiko's manufacture philosophy. This is a GMT watch for those who have looked beyond the obvious and found something genuinely extraordinary. The Grand Seiko Sport GMT retails for approximately $6,800 USD. Number 3. Omega Seamaster. Aqua Terra. GMT, the Omega Seamaster. Aqua Terra GMT, a watch that brings one of Swiss watchmaking's most celebrated and technically accomplished movement families to the dual time zone. Complication in a package of refined, versatile elegance that positions it perfectly between the sport and dress watch worlds. The Aqua Terra's distinctive teak pattern dial, its horizontal lines inspired by the wood decking of sailing yachts, gives it an immediately recognizable visual identity that is simultaneously sporty and refined. A design tension the collection has managed with exceptional grace since its introduction. The GMT function is delivered through a bi-directional GMT bezel and a dedicated 24-hour hand. The whole system integrated into the dial layout with the compositional confidence of a house that has been solving watchmaking design challenges for over 170 years. At the heart beats Omega's master chronometer certified caliber 8900 or 8906, a manufacture movement that meets the Swiss Confederation's most demanding accuracy and anti-magnetic standards, certified to operate correctly in magnetic fields of up to 15,000 Gauss, a level of magnetic resistance that renders virtually every other mechanical watch movement vulnerable by comparison. With 150-meter water resistance, coaxial escapement technology, and the full weight of Omega's manufacture heritage behind it, the Aqua Terra GMT is a daily companion of exceptional capability and enduring elegance. The Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra GMT retails for approximately $9,200 USD. Number 2. Rolex GMT-Master 2. Pepsi. The watch that is not merely one of the greatest GMT watches ever made, but is, by any honest assessment, the watch that invented the modern concept of the GMT complication as a wristwatch function. The Rolex GMT-Master 2 in its legendary blue and red Pepsi bezel configuration, a reference so culturally embedded in the history of watchmaking that its two-tone bezel colorway has become the universal visual shorthand for the entire GMT category. The story begins in 1954, when Rolex developed the original GMT-Master in direct collaboration with Pan American World Airways, whose transatlantic pilots needed a reliable instrument to simultaneously track New York time and their current destination time during the early jet age of commercial aviation. The resulting watch, with its 24-hour bezel and additional GMT hand, was so elegantly conceived and so functionally complete that it has required only refinement, never reinvention, across 7 decades of continuous production. The current GMT-Master 2 reference in white gold or oyster steel with its Cerachrom ceramic Pepsi bezel represents that long evolution at its most resolved. The bidirectional bezel allowing independent local hour-hand adjustment for effortless time zone changes. The caliber 3285 in-house movement delivering 70 hours of power reserve with Rolex's characteristic robustness and precision, and the oyster case providing 100-meter water resistance in a package of such refined, purposeful design that it functions equally well in a cockpit, a boardroom, or at a black-tie dinner without adjustment or apology. The Rolex GMT-Master 2. Pepsi retails for approximately $40,000 USD in steel, with precious metal variants considerably higher. Number 1. Patek Philippe. Nautilus. Travel time. The GMT complication from a functional travel tool into the highest expression of horological artistry and watchmaking philosophy. The Patek Philippe Nautilus Travel Time, a timepiece that represents the convergence of one of watchmaking's most iconic case designs with one of its most intelligently conceived dual time zone mechanisms, executed to standards that only the world's most celebrated manufacturer can consistently achieve. The Nautilus needs no introduction in any serious watchmaking context. Gerald Genta's 1976 design, with its distinctive porthole-inspired octagonal bezel, horizontal embossed dial, and integrated bracelet of incomparable finishing quality, is one of the handful of watch designs in history that transcends its category entirely and becomes a cultural object of universal recognition. The travel time complication housed within this legendary case is Patek's own patented dual time zone system, a mechanism of elegant simplicity and remarkable practicality that allows the local time hour hand to be advanced or retracted in 1-hour increments via dedicated pushers at 2 and 4 o'clock, while the home time hand continues running undisturbed at all times.